Most people who are angry at GLP-1 medication are angry because these medications expose some of the very strong emotions that our society has around women and weight and shifts them, because now it becomes harder to ignore that obesity can be a disease, and it is also harder to ignore that we expect thinness of women as obedience, irrespective of our health. And all this gets mixed up and comes out as anger. But there is a variant of this anger that I actually think is justified, except it should not be directed where it is directed. And that is anger at the situation that people are in when they feel compelled to use these drugs when they have no health need for them at all, in order to conform to societal norms of how our bodies should look. There are celebrities out there where if you look from a distance and squint a little, the use of weight loss medication in their case begins to look a little bit like performance enhancement in sports. Something that is good for competition, bad for your health. In that situation, it can absolutely be bad for your health. Something where everybody would be better off if in that context it was not allowed to be used. But without an outright ban, no one is in a position to unilaterally opt out of the competitive edge. So let's take a completely different example. It is forbidden to inject EPO if you're a cyclist in the Tour de France. EPO is a legitimate drug. There are people who need to take it for legitimate health reasons, and we are not upset at the EPO. We are, however, upset when cyclists take it for the competitive edge, and it is forbidden in that sport. Were it not forbidden, probably all cyclists would have to take it because it would be that much harder to win without taking it if everyone else is taking it. So because it is forbidden, we get very upset at the cyclists who break the rules. And I would argue that if it was not forbidden, our anger would be justified, but we should not then be upset at the cyclists who take the drug. We should, in that scenario, be upset at the circumstances that compel them to do so. Now, transpose all of this to the use of GLP-1s in celebrities who obviously have no health need for it because they don't have the disease of obesity, and it's unlikely that they're all type 2 diabetics. Some of them could be, of course. I don't have access to their medical files, but it's not that likely. In that scenario, people get upset at the GLP-1s. We shouldn't. They're legitimate drugs. Some people legitimately need them. And we should not be throwing hate towards the people who legitimately need them. I would also argue we should not be throwing hate at the celebrities who use them if they are in the equivalent of a competitive sport where it's really hard to unilaterally opt out. Instead, we should be throwing hate at the system that compels them to do so. Yeah.